Madam Deputy Speaker, it's a great pleasure to follow my honourable and gallant friend from Barnsley Central. It would not be right to talk about the Agency's Operations Bill without mentioning at least the member for Plymouth Moor View. While the circumstances surrounding his departure are regrettable and sad to me, I would wish to commend him for his fantastic contribution, hard work and passion. I can't think of a single minister that's given so much of himself, who has worn his heart on his sleeve, and also driven his cause harder. We now have the legislation in place in an area where previously we have not. And I want to issue to him a public and heartfelt thank you on behalf of all of the veterans community. I would also wish to welcome the new minister to his place. As my friend and a neighbour in Aldershot, he is perfectly placed to take on the challenges ahead. He's done his time in the Whip's office, he's done his time in uniform, and he's also a veteran. He's the perfect combination.
Would the Honourable Gentleman give way?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. While my good friend is blowing smoke up the backside of the new excellent minister, I have a real worry, new minister. We are now stuck in the Ministry of Defence with two wooden tops and one black mafia. The officers there, two from the Scots Guards and one from the actual rifles. I'm a bit worried, will the rest of us fit in?
I thank my right honourable friend for his intervention, but he's stolen my thunder because I have a similar theme. But as a long-standing member of his association in Aldershot and a former commanding officer of a proud regiment in Aldershot, I'll be keeping a close eye on him, but supporting him as best I can. I know that Aldershot will be very proud of him. As my good friend mentioned, I am, however, a bit concerned that the MOD now has not two, but three infantry officers at the helm. My admiration, therefore, for Jeremy Quinn, the Procurement Minister, goes up by the day.
Was he lovely?
No, he's not an infantry officer. But as the veritable quartermaster for the MOD, I know that my good friend Jeremy will keep an eye on any daring adventures and keep them in check within the Ministry of Defence.
Just for the sake of good order, we refer to members by their constituency.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, a point that's very well made and very well taken. I made it clear at second reading that this bill is a good bill, and I voted it through because it was the right thing to do. And my view's not changed today, even despite the Lord's amendments that have come back. You'd be amazed at the hysteria and the shock that's appeared in my inbox. People attacking the bill from every angle. But I want to make something absolutely clear. The supposition from some quarters that British troops are somehow predisposed to wantonly committing war crimes and operations, or that the UK has somehow given them a green light or a get-out-of-jail-free card, is frankly absurd. The MOD already has one of the most effective and robust service justice systems in the world. And I can tell you, as somebody who has served on 8 operational tours myself, that we have the best led and the best trained soldiers in the world. We've got a great record in this area, and nothing will change. And it's for this reason that I'm less worried about the exclusion of war crimes. And the reason is that the presumption against prosecution in no way affects the UK's ability to conduct investigations or prosecutions. It is a higher threshold, not a bar. However, in the deference to those who spoke so eloquently at second reading and to Lord's Amendment 1, and the views of many in this place, I do note that the MOD is looking to exclude the more serious crimes, such as torture, genocide and crimes against humanity, from the 5-year rule, and I welcome that. On to Amendment 2. This sets out a new process for investigations. It introduces timelines for investigations and gives a direct role for prosecutors in investigations. Personally, I don't like the phrase artificial timelines for the progress of investigations and the power of the Judge Advocate General to intervene. Furthermore, the limitations in this amendment don't apply in civilian life to police force investigations, meaning that this would create an anomaly. I'm therefore very comfortable with the government's position on this, and I would urge the House to reject it. On to Amendment 3. Well, this removes the duty to consider derogation from convention from the bill. The government's noted that Article 15 of the ECHR provides that states may temporarily suspend relevant human rights obligations. Well, thus the removal of Clause 12 would not prevent the government from making a conscious decision when committing armed forces to overseas operations. I am therefore comfortable, as we maintain the capability to deploy soldiers abroad and derogate, that we're in the right place, and therefore I support the government also on Amendment 3. On Amendment 4, which excludes actions brought against the Crown by serving or former service personnel from the limitation measures introduced by Part 2 of the bill, I believe that the impact of new limitation periods on the ability of service personnel to make claims will be minimal. Also, the long stops laid out in Part 2 of the bill have been introduced to offer greater legal certainty, as well as greater certainty to service personnel. So I agree once again that that amendment should be opposed. And lastly, Amendment 5 requires the Secretary of State to lay before Parliament within 6 months of the bill getting royal assent a duty of care standard in relation to legal, pastoral and mental health support provided to service personnel involved in investigations or litigations arising from overseas operations. It also requires an annual report. Well, I'll tell you this, as somebody who knows, service personnel are entitled to legal support at public expense when they face criminal allegations and civil claims. Legal support is also available when people are required to give evidence at inquests, inquiries and litigation. Plus, the Armed Forces Bill is bringing the Armed Forces Covenant into statute, and medical support available to all soldiers and veterans is unrivalled. And let's not forget mental health. The government is now throwing money at this problem, and we're getting better all of the time. So I agree with the government that this amendment is neither viable nor necessary. So to conclude, if I can, this is a good bill, and the government's own concessions today make it even better. But the rest of the Lord's amendments, in my view, should be rejected. Thank you.